famous multimedia artist and choreographer pioneer. This is part of her centennial celebrations, the Elaine Summer Centennial Celebrations that hold in 2025. The series is directed by Becker and is restaged by the Körtvélyessy Real Dance Company. We're having the last hour until 8 a.m. Central European and Central Africa time, which is 2 a.m. in the United States Eastern Standard Time. It's okay, let's say. And 12 6 a.m. Los Angeles. Soon, very soon, the sun will set over Baker Island. Right now, the sun has set over Honolulu, Hawaii. So people in Hawaii, have a good night. Hope the day was as possible as can be. And maybe you have a moment. May you have a moment. But let me see where you will watch this night. Until then, enjoy Sunbeams by Jay Dillon in this beautiful sunset version by Red Sun. And we seem to have some technical difficulties. Let me try this right again. nice that you could join us. Good morning. For people who are on Instagram, if you look at the comments of the live video, Awa said underscore JP is her handle on Instagram. Asami does beautiful visual work. We worked together once when she was in Rotterdam with her husband, Körtvélyessy. Please follow them on their Instagram. They have beautiful work. Thank you, Asami, for joining. A wonderful morning. Or wonderful evening. You're in Japan, probably night. Before I forget, since Asami sits here now, if you have not done so far, you still have half an hour, 45 minutes that you can watch Origo, Asami Lautima, and day 2 videos. The link is on www.skytime.org. I very warmly recommend that you watch it now, because the 24 hours that they generously gave their film is ending soon, in 45 minutes, and the film is 16 minutes. So in 20 minutes from now is the last time. Muito bom dia, João. Wherever you're watching from, have a wonderful, I hope that you have an agreeable morning. If you haven't met Asami yet, Asami, this is João. Let's see over. João, this is Asami. I'm having a name block, I'm sorry, my fault. But I remember Asami. If you haven't yet, watch each other's live, watch each other's Ah, I thought it was 8 a.m., but no, it's. No, it is 8 a.m. Because 9 a.m. is Helsinki time. Let me get back to where I was. Ah, yes. And since it came up, let me share my desktop once again with this film by Francis Becker. Okay, and this is a reminder for everyone. We are officially entering the last possible chance to watch Origo by Sami Lautola and Merituli Risberg from Lahti, Finland. Because it's 16 minutes long, you should watch it sometime now. It is 7:42 at my time is the last possible time, because then the 24-hour closes and it will no longer be possible to watch it. So Asami, I hope that you have a chance and are enjoying the experience. It's a beautiful film for our time. It gives us something that I believe we all could use very, very much right now, wherever we are.
I would like to take a moment to share this part. Let me see if I can optimize it for people on Instagram. So there is one Skytime member here who you see in the list, and that happens to be my father, Dr. László Körtvélyessy. And Elaine was very interested because my father, in his later years, realized that there was one thing that was not working with astronomy yet. He was a physicist. He was a trained physicist, and his specialty was everything that has to do with heating. But his original passion had been electricity. I mean, he was a child of the 20th century. And in the 20th century, electricity was all the big thing for everybody. It was no longer a beginning experimental thing, but people were really catching on to it. And at one point, he combined it and realized that in his idea, in his mind, and I still remember the moment when he told me, it was one of these genius moments, just like when Elaine told me about Skytime. My father told me that he realized why the sun wasn't exploding. And in his understanding, it was because the sun was a self-regulating system that also used positive and negative charges, which of course are very temporary because the sun is so hot. There is no matter in this sense because it is such a huge reactor. But apparently, because of these tiny little differences, the sun would not expand or explode. And even though these days I know we have to be especially careful with all kinds of fringe theories, the beauty is that my father actually wrote this book and had it illustrated with an illustrator and self-published it. And he tried to make sure that he would be online and that he could have an online presence with this book. And so Elaine very generously and very kindly took him as a Skytime member because she decided, well, this is Skytime. And he's just another rainbow maker. And we just as well want him on here. And so I would like to take this moment to remind of my father's legacy, which is another legacy that is waiting. So if you're a physicist, if you're a scientist, if you're an astronomer, I would say check it out. Maybe it has merit. Maybe it is... What I love about the theory is that it is a very simple theory. It is very simple to understand because with these temporary positive and negative charges, he was able to discover entire mechanisms, dances, if you will, dance patterns that help to explain all kinds of astronomical phenomena, which to this day require very complicated and very heavy theory. And his theory was much more simple. And as we know with Occam's razor, that would be a reason to actually look at it and see, well, is this possible? But since my father was not a professional astronomer and didn't really get access to those particular circles, it was on the side. But as you can see, the book is there, the idea is there. So if you go to the-electric-universe.info, then you see the entire online legacy. And, well, you could download parts. There are scripts that you can download. Whoops. As with all websites that age, not every part ages. But this is what part that we didn't get done yet. There's Chandra, and I realized that Chandra is the Hindu god of the moon, like Tsukiyomi in Japan. And there are similarities apparently between Tsukiyomi and Chandra in the way that they appear, how they behave. So there may be some echoes, which is not entirely strange. I mean, thinking that Buddhism came from India to places like China and Korea and Japan. So once in a while, my father would share his understandings with us, and he would blurt out and say, I just realized why, I don't know, why pulsars behave like this and why jets are like that. And it was a very interesting part. In his prediction, by the way, the sun would keep heating up because the sun is heating up and has heating and deheating cycles. So the sun's temperature is changing. But the problem is that until 2040, the sun will only intensify. So some people said, oh, well, then we can just drive cars because it doesn't matter. And then he realized, no, actually, it does matter because it's like your house is becoming really hot and you are playing with fire and you are having fires everywhere. And that's not a good idea if your house is heating up like crazy because it will not, naturally have its cycle. So until 2040, if it's true that there will be more solar activity, we all need to be extra, extra careful because we shouldn't have spent all those years listening to the fossil fuel industry telling us that everything was fine and we could just keep on buying oil. And this is the big failure of my generation, of people in the 1990s, and there's nothing we can do to turn it back except saying, yes, you're right. We were misled and we believed the misleading because it was easier to believe that everything was okay when everything was absolutely not okay. All right, there's 10 more minutes. Let me do a dance of 10 minutes. Letting my body move, stretch itself any way it needs to stretch and do its thing. In about 10 minutes, I will close this Zoom meeting and then I will put it online on skytime.org for everyone to see. I would like to thank all the people who have been part of Skytime, whether you were in a Zoom meeting or whether you shared on Instagram. Follow the hashtags Skytime, Elaine Summers Centennial, and you will find posts from various people like Rachel Cohen, Gregor Kamnika, Disc Collective in Slovenia, Rachel Cohen in Brooklyn, United States of America, Shua Group in Detroit. These are three that I know from my mind that actually posted things on Instagram, on social media. Viktor Ruban posted videos from Kiev, which at the moment has a very difficult history, just like so many other places, like Gaza, like Iran right now being bombed. I mean, I can say this, but obviously, well, okay, let me address the elephant in the room, and I think it is time to address it. I thought for a long time, is it even possible in a time when the sky has been the bringer of death and our waste dump that is killing us, and when the internet has become a method of surveillance and of control and disinformation? What about these, if you will, dark sides, if you want to say it in a cliche way? And I realized that there is a reason why Elaine didn't want to have Greenpeace in, for example. Or that's how she framed it to me when she talked to me about it. And now I understand that I believe Skytime is something where we try to remember what all of these inventions were originally invented for. Not necessarily how they were being used, but what they were invented for. So even though the internet was invented by the military, the US military at some point, there were other thinkers who already had these ideas. And they did not think of controlling people necessarily. They thought of connecting, communicating. And a very good example for that are the timelines. So if you go to look at the various timelines, there is something very special here. Let me bring up the map and share it with everyone so everyone can see it. So here is, as we know, first of all, this is a map that gives us an idea of where everything is. But we know that the proportions are not there. It's an abstraction. And the continents of Africa and South America are twice as big as they look here. And that has to do because of the perspective that has been chosen. So these timelines here, these hours, these longitudes, where the sun follows its course across one rotation of the planet around its own axis. So even though this is established by a time when Britain, Great Britain and England was dominating the culture well, not the culture, but the politics on the planet. And so Greenwich Mean Time in those days was chosen as the center of where the universal time coordinates would begin. So even though this is essentially a British system, and it started in England because people started to have acceleration with trains, even then, we can use this now to actually collaborate and know, oh, I can have a meeting. Asami and I can say, well, we can meet at that particular time, and it will be a time for Asami, and it will be a time for me. So let me actually demonstrate. If we wanted to do that, and this is a very good chance, and I will just take Tokyo for now, because I know, because for as a Japanese city. Or could you take Kyoto? Why don't I take Kyoto? Let me take Kyoto if it is on. It is on. Let's say Asami is in Kyoto and I'm here, and we want to find a timetable to meet. Then these days it is very easy to find out when actually would be a good time for us to meet. So for example, now I can see that it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon in Japan, in Kyoto, while for me it is 8 o'clock in the morning. Almost 8 o'clock in the morning. And I'm still wrong. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. It's actually 1400 hours. It's 2 o'clock in the morning in Kyoto. So this, we can talk about the legacy of empire, of the British Empire. Yes, absolutely have to. Does this mean that we should abolish all the time zones and our possibility of communicating with each other and having very clear, very precise means of meeting each other? I don't think so. I believe it is possible. Just like the internet was part of the US military, and now we're using it to communicate with each other in such wonderful ways that are making it possible for us to have a very planetary awareness. Think of people like Anna Halpern and her planetary dances, which in those days were still rather beginning. Now we can have, and we are having a planetary dance, and this is exactly what we did with Skytime. It was one planetary dance that will end very soon. As a matter of fact, it has ended just now because the sun has set over Baker Island and Howard Islands. So if I go to the original score, let me show you. All the way here. Let me make it larger and show you. So here is, oops, Howard and Baker Island. Let's see if I can actually get this a little larger, but I cannot. Here's Howard and Baker Island, just before the date line, and the sun has set there just 3 minutes ago, according to time and date, if they are correct. So by now, the 36 hours have ended because the sun has set over Howard and Baker Island. And that means that officially, this iteration of Skytime is over. It doesn't mean that it has to be over any time, because Elaine's concept artwork keeps continuing. So Elaine keeps asking us, how do you feel about the sky? How would you like to communicate about it? And so let's say that anytime, from now on until perpetuity, we can have Skytime anytime we like and anytime you want. And let me close with Elaine's quote that I still believe is very valid to this very day and that I posted here on Instagram. And I hope I posted it exactly right. The sky is ours altogether. Consider the wonders of it all. I would like us to end on this note. when I will close this live stream at 8 o'clock exactly, in 3 minutes from now. All right. And hi, Eva, good morning. Let's see where I can find you and see you. Oh, she's still joining. Okay, well, just in time. Just in time, just in time. Thank you, Asami, for saying that. I cannot take the credit. It's not my work. It's Elaine Summers who started to think of all of this. She was the one who originated it. I am trying to make a echo of her work. But it was a wonderful project to restage. That I completely agree. And yes, I did the best I could to find one way to bring in. Good morning, Eva. Jóreggelt. Hi.
Good morning, Thomas. I wanted to join you.
Come on right in. Let me stop sharing the screen so people can actually see. Well, actually, people can see us, right? Because our videos are on, so it should be possible for people to see us.
Yeah, very possible. Are you still awake?
Well, I took a big deal of sleep. That's why I wasn't there when you were in there in the morning.
Oh, well, so I was right when I wondered whether you were asleep or not.
I very much was asleep. I very much was asleep.
Now, I would like to show you the sky for a moment before we go off.
Let me pin you for everyone to see. It's a beautiful sky. Thank you, Eva.
Mm.
Everyone, this is the sky above where Eva Karczak is right now. So we're ending. That's a beautiful way to end, Eva. Thank you so much for this contribution. Okay, everyone take a last moment. Eva has been very, very helpful, a very important ally in this undertaking. I could not have done it without her. So thank you, Eva, for being a presence and gently and in a friendly way, helping to make this event what it became. We could not have done this without you. Thank you.
It was a great pleasure, Thomas.
Okay. Well then, hereby, since it's 8 o'clock, all good things come to an ending. Enjoy these last moments of Skytime. And as I said, I actually just realized again, even though this meeting will end, whenever you look at the sky, it can be your Skytime. You can always do Skytime because Elaine's invitation goes on forever. It doesn't stop at any time. So anytime you wish, you can do exactly what Eva is doing right now. And you can have your own Skytime and you can share it on a live stream, or you can do it for yourself, or you can talk to other people and say, look at the sky. Isn't the sky beautiful today? Or isn't it special today? So I will end the restream in a moment. All of these will end, but even though the restream ends, we still have a sky. We are still on this planet. We can still do things. And we made Skytime happen amid all the adversities, among all the difficulties and all the complications. And that is something that should give us hope, because we still have these possibilities, and we're using them as long as we can. Take good care, everyone. Goodbye. Okay.